ततो जयमुदीरय नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी किधर गया था? The shloka number 40. मात्राध्यात्मिकीं विद्यां शमनी सर्वकर्मणां वितरिष्ये यया चासौ भयं चातितरिष्यति मात्रा आध्यात्मिकीं विद्यां शमनीं सर्वकर्मणां वितरिष्ये यया चासौ भयं चातितरिष्यति मात्रा आध्यात्मिकीं विद्यां शमनीं सर्वकर्मणां वितरिष्ये यया चासौ भयं चातितरिष्यति
Samanim sarvakarmanam Vayam Chati Matra Adhyatmikim Vidyam Samanim Sarvakarmanam Vitarishye Achaso Vayam Chati Tarishati Matra Adhyatmikam Vidya Samanim Sarvakarmanam
Matre, to my mother, Adhyatmikim, which opens the doors of spiritual life, Vidyam, knowledge, Shamanim, ending, Sarva Karmanam, all fruitive activities. Vatarishe, I shall give. Yaya, by which. Cha, also. Asau, she. Bhayam, fear. Cha, also. Ati tarishati, it will overcome. I shall also describe the sublime knowledge, the door to spiritual life to my mother, so that she also can attain perfection and self-realization, ending all reactions to fruitive activity. Thus, she also will be freed from all material fear. I shall also describe the sublime knowledge, which is the door to spiritual life, to my mother, so that she can also attain perfection and self-realization, ending all reactions to fruitive activities. Thus, she also will be freed from all material fear. Yes, Supriya Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Kardama Muni was anxious about his good wife Devahuti while leaving home, and so the worthy son promised that not only would Kardama Muni be freed from material entanglement, but Devahuti would also be freed by receiving instruction from her son. A very good example is set here. The husband goes away, taking the sannyasa order for self-realization, but his representative, the son, who is equally educated, remains at home to deliver the mother. A sannyasi is not supposed to take his wife with him. At the vanaprastha stage of retired life, or the stage midway between householder life and renounced life, one may keep his wife as an assistant without sex relations, but in the sannyasa order of life, one cannot keep his wife with him. Otherwise, a person like Kardama Muni could have kept his wife with him, and there would have been no hindrance to his prosecution of self-realization. Kardama Muni followed the Vedic injunction that no one in sannyasa life can have any kind of relationship with women. But what is the position of a woman who is left by her husband? She is entrusted to the son, and the son promises that he will deliver his mother from entanglement. A woman is not supposed to take sannyasa. So-called spiritual activities concocted in modern times give
Societies, so-called spiritual societies.
So-called spiritual societies concocted in modern times give sannyasa even to women, although there is no sanction in the Vedic literature for a woman's accepting sannyasa. Otherwise, if it were sanctioned, Kardama Muni could have taken his wife and given her sannyasa. The woman must remain at home. She has only 3 stages of life: dependency on the father in childhood, dependency on the husband in youth, and in old age, dependency on the grown-up son such as Kapila. In old age, the progress of women depends on the grown-up son. The ideal son, Kapila Muni, is assuring his father of the deliverance of his mother so that his father may go peacefully without anxiety for his good wife. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah, we'll do 2 more shlokas. Maitreya Uvacha Evam Samuditastena Kapilena Prajapatihi Dakshini Kritya Tam Prito Vanam Eva Jagamaha. Shri Maitreya said, thus when Kardama Muni, the progenitor of human society, is spoken to in fullness by his son Kapila, he circumambulated him, and with the good pacified mind, he at once left for the forest. Yes. Continue, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Purport: going to the forest is compulsory for everyone. It is not a mental excursion upon which one person goes and another does not. Everyone should go to the forest at least as a vanaprastha. For going means to take 100% shelter of the Supreme Lord, as explained by Prahlada Maharaj in his talks with his father. Sada Samudvigna Dhyam. People who have accepted a temporary material body are always full of anxieties. One should therefore not be very much affected by this material body, but should try to be freed. The preliminary process to be freed is to go to the forest or give up family relationships and exclusively engage in Krishna consciousness. That is the purpose of going to forest. Otherwise, the forest is only a place of monkeys and wild animals. To go to the forest does not mean to become a monkey or a ferocious animal. It means to accept exclusively the shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and engage oneself in full service. One does not actually have to go to the forest. At the present moment, this is not at all advisable for a man who has spent his life all along in big cities. As explained by Prahlada Maharaj, Hitvatma patam griham andhakupam. One should not remain always engaged in the responsibilities of family life, because family life without Krishna consciousness is just like a blind well. Alone in a field, if one falls into a blind well and no one is there to save him, he may cry for years and no one will hear or see where the crying is coming from. Death is sure. Similarly, those who are forgetful of their eternal relationship with the Supreme Lord or in the blind well of family life, their position is very ominous. Prahlada Maharaj advised that one should give up this well somehow or other and take to Krishna consciousness and thus be freed from arterial entanglement, which is full of anxieties.
Vratam saastito maunam atmaika sharano munihi nisango vyacharat shonim anagni aniketanaha. The sage Kardama accepted silence as a vow in order to think of the Supreme Personality Godhead and take shelter of him exclusively. Without association, he traveled over the surface of the globe as a sannyasi, devoid of any relationship with fire or shelter.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Purport: here the words Anagnir Aniketanaha are very significant. A sannyasi should be completely detached from fire and any residential quarters. A grihastha has a relationship with fire either for offering sacrifices or for cooking, but a sannyasi is freed from these two responsibilities. He does not have to cook or offer fire for sacrifice because he is always engaged in Krishna consciousness. Therefore, he has already accomplished all ritualistic performances of religion. Aniketanaha means without lodging. He should not have his own house, but should depend completely on the Supreme Lord for his food and lodging. He should travel. Mauna means silence. Unless one becomes silent, he cannot think completely about the pastimes and activities of the Lord. It is not that because one is a fool and cannot speak nicely, he therefore takes a vow of Mauna. Rather, one becomes silent so that people will not disturb him. It is said by Chanakya Pandita that a rascal appears very intelligent as long as he does not speak, but speaking is the test. The so-called silence of a silent impersonalist, Swami, indicates that he has nothing to say. He simply wants to beg. But the silence adopted by Kardama Muni was not like that. He became silent for relief from nonsensical talk. One is called a Muni when he remains grave and does not talk nonsense. Maharaja Ambarisha set a very good example. Whenever he spoke about the pastimes of the Lord. Mauna necessitates refraining from nonsensical talking and engaging the talking facility in the pastimes of the Lord. In that way, one can chant and hear about the Lord in order to perfect his life. Vratam means that one should take a vow as explained in Bhagavad Gita, amanitvam adambitvam, without hankering for personal respect and without being proud of one's material position. Ahimsa means not being violent. There are 18 processes for attaining knowledge and perfection, and by his vow, Kardama Muni adopted all the principles of self-realization. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravacharine Nirvisheshaya Shunyavadi Ashtadev Shuddharine. Jayo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Ananda Shri Gadadhara Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Maunam Atmaika Sharano Munihi Nesango Vyacharat Shone Anagnir Aniketanaha. The sage Hare Krishna. An observation of Kardama Muni. He is taking steps. House is very comfortable. But that brings certain like attachment and entanglement in material welfare of family members. My grandson is not doing this. That in-law is not doing that. The mind is absorbed. And to get this detachment, it was advisable that at 50 years of life, person moves out. 50. If the life is 100 years, 50 years, he is connected to the family. He is involved more progressively in Krishna consciousness. Brahmachari, Grahastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyas. The Brahmachari is gone to Gurukul for 20 years. So 20 years, 25 years, first 25 years are for education. And then if he wants to continue, he can continue. But generally that is not true. He will enter Grahastha ashram and then go to Vanaprastha. At Grahastha ashram, will take the responsibility of economic development of his family, maintaining the band of family, hold the team. He has to work hard for that. And after that, he will, with his wife, go for Vanaprastha for pilgrimages. That is 50 to 75. And 75 years, wife will come back home, stay with the elder sons, and the husband will travel to preach as a sannyasi. So this is previous age, and Kardama Muni wants to follow this. Interesting thing is that his son is at home, who is God himself. But he's following the traditional rule of Vanaprastha ashram, sannyasa ashram. And Prabhupada is noting, today we have so-called spiritual societies which give sannyasa to women. They are there. Well, not name them. But it's not advised in the Vedic culture. So the point is that Kardama Muni or his wife, everything is being discussed on one perspective, spiritual advancement. Focus is spiritual advancement. And for spiritual advancement, if somebody remains home, somebody goes out, that is secondary. The focus is the society is meditating on spiritual advancement. Kardama Muni was intensely trying for spiritual advancement. Now, even in the family life, he is making steps for spiritual advancement. Today's spiritual advancement is not the criteria in the society. Mostly society is very tamasic, like yesterday we had the full analysis. And they're trying to become maybe Rajasic, that's all. But there is just no focus on spiritual advancement. They are remaining in the two lower modes. Now, in Bhagavad Gita, in the 13th chapter, there are verses which describe 20 elements for spiritual advance. That is what Prabhupada mentioned at the end. Big number. Okay. So let us just meditate on each one of them and see that we understand and to some degree we follow. And also we can see to what degree actually it is followed today. The famous verse in the 13th chapter. Adambittam amanittam adambittam ahimsa shanti marjavam acharyopasanam shaucham stairyamatam vinigraha indriyarteshu vairagyam anahankara evacha janama mrityu jara vyadi dukkha doshanudarshanam asaktir anavishwangaha putradara grihadishu Nityam cha samachittatvam ishtonistopapatishu Mai chanana yogena bhakti avyavicharini Vivikta desha sevitvam aratirjana samsadi Adhyatma jnana nittatvam tattva jnanartha darshanam Etad jnanamiti proktam ajnanam yat ato anyatha. So very nice, these 20 elements. Let us try to understand. These elements have been arranged, Prabhupada says in the purport, like a staircase. That means it starts from Amanitvam and ends in Tattva Jnanartha Darshanam. So let us understand this sequence. The first one is humility. Each one Prabhupada explains very nicely. So let us take Prabhupada's words and try to deeply meditate. He said, one should not be anxious to have the satisfaction of being honored by others. Can you see this? What a beautiful definition it is. Anxious to have the satisfaction. Somewhere, some kind of a appetite, satisfaction of being honored by others. And similar word is pridelessness. There are some devotees who go and divide these two words. Anyway, that's a separate point, but similar words. The pride is something you don't even have. You're proud about that. Something they have made analysis. Anyway, let us come here. Humility means so beautiful definition. Not to have, anxious to have satisfaction of being honored. I remember when I told you so many times, 93 something, I joined a temple. There was one person who will never miss Mangalarti. And his age was something like 80 years, very serious. And every day he used to come and I used to observe him walking all the way. Recently he passed away. So amazing. So somebody was asking me, I said, this man is really humble. He said, see, humility doesn't mean because shoulders are down, because, as the age, his shoulders are down. But when some difficult situation comes and he is not honored, and that situation is neglected or ignored, or somebody speaks a word of dishonor, then at that time comes whether he is humble or not. We all say we are humble, Humble doesn't come by soft talking only. Humility comes whether you are eager to get satisfaction or being honored, anxious to have satisfaction to be honored, an appetite for that. Like we go anywhere, we expect everybody should get up, notice, give us garland, play band when we reach. This is not humility. Humility is we should be rather reverse. We go anywhere, all the people should take out slippers to beat us. And we should not be hurt by that, because that is what we deserve. So humility means very beautiful definition. And people, Mayavadis who say, I'm God, they are not humble. Therefore, they do not even begin their spiritual life, because the elements are arranged 21 after another. So if you want to make spiritual advancement, the first thing is what we need: realized humility. Not superficial. Realized humility. Actually convinced that I am a useless person. Convinced. They say that's like Vidya Vinaya. Somebody gets real knowledge, first thing he becomes humble. Somebody is not humble, has not even begun his spiritual life. The humility of a devotee is actually a transcendental phenomenon, because he doesn't want satisfaction of being honored. People can't believe this, because materialist, the first thing about a materialist is that he is not humble. And the first thing about devotee is that he is humble. So it's not that a devotee is humble because of material considerations. He speaks very softly, gently. That's okay. That is not what we are talking about. Devotee's humility is different. That is divine there, not anxious. That is why the first service, generally the best service for devotees, book distribution. Comes out, humility comes out. You go in a train, take a bag of books and go man to man. Just go. Your humility comes out. Now you say, hey, kitab le gaye. Get out. Nobody is going to buy a book from you unless you are humble. Anna? Hare Krishna. You will take a book? Yes. Anna? Immediately, people can feel this person is not on a material plane. You imagine you are on a spiritual plane, but people can make it out if you see the person is humble. Correct? And humility devotee is not just fucking kaise ho, not that. It's just because he's not anxious to have satisfaction, to be honored. He is not, it is visible in his personality. So when you sincerely chant Hare Krishna, the first thing is you should become humble. It's a transcend. You got it? Humility means not, kaise ho, aap theek hai. This is not humility. Person can be proud and externally show superficial humility. But actual humility is something else. We can talk about this word itself today. Actual humility is a transcendental phenomena where he loses desire to be material honor. Okay? Interesting. Chalo, let us continue. See, the Prabhupada is saying the material conception life make us very eager to receive honor for others, because we have come to imitate Krishna. We have come as a revolt. So definitely we want honor in this world. 100%. On a material plane, we want honor. But only on the spiritual plane, we lose desire for honor. The first symptom now is on spiritual platform. अब ये spiritual platform आ गया, इसको मतलब ही नहीं है. Honor, even a Brahmana is honored or dishonored, he should not be affected. Even for a Brahmana. What about a Vaishnava who is very advanced Brahmana? Yesterday I was explaining a very interesting analysis. The Brahmana cannot chant Shuddha-nama, but a Vaishnava can chant Shuddha-nama. Brahmana may be maximum Nama Bhasa, but Shuddha-nama is only privilege of a Vaishnava. So anyway, so humility means it's a spiritual touch. has started. In ISKCON, people come, there's so many times, and then even before they have taken Diksha from Srila Prabhupada or his disciple, presently by his disciples, at Prabhupada time, it was directly by him. The instructions start up. And when they enter the temple, first thing devotee gets shocked by the humility. What is this? We only see proud people in this world fighting with each other, envious of each other. है ना? Correct? दुनिया में ऐसा ही दिखता है. इसीलिए तो छोड़ के आए, तंग आ गए. When you come to the association of devotees, first thing that strikes is the humility of the devotees. And that was true for me. I saw devotees paying obeisance to each other. ये क्या कर रहे हैं लोग? I was totally shocked. We तो देखते ही नहीं है. We don't see this with business totally. For people, for us, and living in a society, it becomes normal. When any devotee, visiting devotee comes, we all pay obeisance. He also pays obeisance. It becomes quite normal. For people, it's unimaginable. In fact, when Srila Prabhupada movement was growing, it was people could not believe this all. They're paying obeisance to Prabhupada. They are worshipping him, could not believe. This is humility. Okay. So for the point of view of the man in perfect knowledge who knows that he is not the body, any honor or dishonor pertaining to the body is useless, and one should not be hankering after this material deception. This is a deception, cheating of Maya. Anna? Because it is coming to the body. Whom person is honoring? The body. I am not the body. The person, it's not for me. He just neglect, correct? Suppose somebody is giving you honor. He's not giving you honor. He is giving honor to the body. True. Not to the soul. He doesn't even know soul exists. So he gives. So it's nothing to do with me. It's all drama. So he becomes totally, he knows it's useless, and he knows it's a material deception. We have to be very careful at this point, because sometimes we travel for preaching and people give honor, they pay obeisances, blah, blah. We should, at heart, we should not accept one point of it. At least we know the truth. Recently, I was visiting classes. So, the introducing me, the teachers are saying, Shuddha Bhakta has come. I was saying, Shuddha Bhakta. Ye kya Shuddha Bhakta? So, I know what is fact. Okay, they may make a mistake that Shuddha Bhakta has come. I know. So why we should accept that? सुनने में तो बहुत अच्छा लगता है. Very pleasing to hear, pure devotee, pure. It's good to hear. But we know the fact. So we should not accept it. We should say, no, don't, please. Don't speak all this thing. We should be convinced. People pay honor, they pay obeisances. We should be convinced, totally convinced. We know it's a deception. We should don't create an illusion. When Haridas Thakur told Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Haridas Thakur was actually a personality whose humility Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to say, your humility gives me pain in the heart. Whenever Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to eat, he had come to Jagannath Puri. He said, where is Haridas? And Haridas was lying long time on some road paying obeisance to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He'll not even get up. And then when they say Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is asking you to come, he wants you to eat with him. How can I even enter that assembly? And I am useless. It touches everybody's heart. Whoever reads Chaitanya Charitamrita, now for those who read, people don't have time for reading nowadays. They think biggest problem in the movement is now to make our members read Prabhupada books. They don't read. We have people coming for Diksha, not read books. People want, so this is interesting. They don't read. The habit of reading doesn't exist. In fact, anyway, coming. So humility, what does it mean? You see, we go to so many people, they don't listen, they only speak. We go, because they're not humble. We go, nowadays we are going to meet people for temple project. We sit in front of them. They don't listen. You tell 2 lines, they tell 10 lines. He's not humble. Humility means really eager to listen, no? They don't listen. And how many of you have an experience, correct? They just don't listen. You speak one line, they speak 20 lines. And then finally we stop speaking, we hear. And he's very happy. He spoke so much and we heard. He gives a donation. Such a joke it is, That's the materialist people. They totally lack humility. They do, and so once what happened, so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells Haridas Thakur, Haridas Thakur to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that I will not be able to see the closing part of your pastime. It is not possible for me. So what should I do? He says that it will be unbearable for me. This is for an advanced devotee. We don't even know what is this. We can't even know what is this. But I heard from Chaitanya Charitamrita there is something like that. We do not know. Even with the devotees with Srila Prabhupada, when Srila Prabhupada departed from this world, they were in unbearable pain. For us, we don't know what is this emotion, because for that, heart has to become a little pure. So Haridas Thakur said, so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Haridas, whatever happiness I have is your association. If you go away, how will I live? Such a sweet verse. Taken. It's not sentiment, it's a fact. His Lord speaks with great happiness. Whatever my happiness is, Haridas, it is your company. If you go away, then, how will I live? It will be so painful to live without you. So Haridas said, my dear Lord, please do not make any deception or illusion. If an ant dies in this world, what is the loss to this world? He is actually humble. What does he say? If an ant dies, like a cheeti duniya mein mar gayi, to kya farak padta duniya ko? So if I die, there is no difference for you. You have many devotees who are fit to sit on my head. Aapke devotees are so advanced and they can sit on me. That will also not be wrong. Why you speak like this, that you will miss my association? In fact, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu always used to say, Haridas, your humility gives me pain. So we have to learn humility, read Chaitanya Charitamrita, and just see how Haridas Thakur interacts with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You learn humility. Okay. So one should not be hankering after this material deception. That's our disease. There's a deception. Honor in this world, pride in this world. It's a deception. And all our sense gratification, actually all the offenses happen because of sense gratification. Why? Because sense gratification throws us from the spiritual platform. Sense gratification and spiritual life are contradictory. They're not together. There's opposite. Yoga and bhoga is opposite. You cannot say I'm engaged in spiritual life and I'm also doing sense gratification. They're two opposite things. You cannot do both the things at the same time. And spiritual life means engaging our senses in Krishna's service. Sense gratification means engaging our senses not in Krishna's service. It's contradictory. Cannot have both together. So once sense gratification starts, we are thrown away from the spiritual platform. And the first symptom is that he loses humility. And therefore offenses start, fighting starts. If the devotees are on spiritual platform, there will be no aparadhas. Correct? So suppose somebody is getting very angry. Suppose somebody is always fighting. We know he's not on the spiritual platform. He has fallen down. What is the symptom of fall down? He lacks humility now. You got it? See, fall down, we pata nahi chalta. Fall down is not कि आदमी लेटा हुआ है. That is not fall down. Fall down happens, we are talking about in consciousness. Correct? So how do we detect that I have fallen down? हमको ही detect करना पड़ेगा. बाकी को तो पता नहीं चलेगा. है ना? वो तो body देख रहा है, बड़ा तिलक देख रहा है, कंठी. That's what. Who says that? Bhaktivinoda Thakur says. है ना? What is the shloka he says? Mater tilak galer kantimala hoite kali chela. But he is kali chela. So, when somebody is on a material platform and he is not honored, that's all. Imagine in the society, when people meet each other, how much tamasha happens. Just because, take the example of Daksha. Was he humble? No. He was not. Was he on spiritual platform? No. How do we know? A small thing happened. He entered the assembly. Daksha is Prajapati. So he's very effulgent. Like Surya is very effulgent, very handsome. Why is he called Daksha? What is he expert in? He's expert in producing children. Therefore, he's called Daksha. So he entered the assembly, and what happened? So he entered there. Today I will not be able to do 20 items. We'll just finish this. So he entered the assembly. What happened? Simple thing happened that everybody got up. Oh, Daksha has come. Daksha has come. But one person did not get up. Who was that? Lord Shiva. Correct? He did not get up. Why? And Daksha became so angry. Somebody is asking how to take Ekadashi. Just wait. He became very, very angry. And Lord Shiva he's almost Krishna. Therefore, people cannot understand. And in the level 1, my request is, don't try to make them understand difference between Shiva and Krishna. It's almost Krishna, like milk turned into curd. Okay? His position is Shiva Tattva. Shiva Tattva is next to Vishnu Tattva. Much, much higher than Jiva Tattva. Okay? And Daksha is the Jiva Tattva. That's all. And Shiva need not get up when Daksha comes. There's nothing wrong also. He is worshipable for Daksha. Lord Shiva is worshipable by all the living entities. He's in a very, very advanced spiritual position. By his not even as a devotee, he is a Vaishnavanam Yathasambho, the greatest devotee. So he deserves respect by everybody. And that is the real respect. And also as Shiva Tattva is almost Vishnu, milk into curd. He has to be given all respects. He doesn't have to get up. On top of it, he was on Samadhi. He's always on Samadhi on Lord Krishna's lotus feet. Savai Manah Krishna Padara Vindayo. And always, Om Tad Vishnu Param Padam Sada Pashyanti Suraya. All the devatas are holding lotus feet of Krishna within their heart. And Shiva is the greatest of them. Mahadeva. And he is holding the lotus feet of Krishna in his heart. And his Samadhi, he just did not notice Daksha coming. But Daksha is on material plane. He became very, very angry. And now, because of anger, because of his material platform, offenses start. So always note, offenses between devotees happen when either one or both have come to the material platform. Then offenses start. On spiritual platform, we are humble. We don't make offenses. Because we get hurt. Like Daksha, we get hurt. क्या समझता है? खड़ा नहीं वो. मैं आया था. मैं senior है. I'm a senior devotee. And he did not get up. What does he think of himself? So that was kind of a desire Daksha had. And now Daksha starts finding fault on Lord Shiva. There is no fault in Lord Shiva. He is faultless. He is purest, most auspicious personality. He starts finding, you can find fault in anything. Prabhupada said, you want to find fault, you can find fault in me also, he said. So he now starts finding fault. Oh, because of that. I'm not saying fault doesn't exist. Sometimes I said one of them should be in a metal platform. Or both. And now Daksha becomes angry. Boom. And he finds fault. Like a monkey. He is.
He compares it to monkey because it doesn't dress sometimes. He goes, sits in a Shamshan Ghat, raak laga deta hai. No, he is addicted to nonsense habits. It's only because Brahma told I gave my daughter to him. I'm not very keen. I have no respect for it. Like that, he started speaking very pungent words, and then cursing, counter cursing happened. And Lord Shiva, kya ho raha hai ye sab? Because his followers and the Daksha and all cursing, counter cursing started. That's a big chapter in the Bhagavatam. And the curses are still there. They're effective. So what was Daksha's problem? He was on a material platform. So the material platform is shown. The proof of material platform is somebody gets hurt when he is dishonored. And that shows you're not on a spiritual platform. Khali drama chal raha hai. Natak of spiritual life. Because somebody is on a spiritual platform, he's humble. And what is the proof of humility? He does not get hurt when he's dishonored. But if you get hurt, abhi spiritual platform, bahut bada cheez hai. Therefore, spiritual platform, person comes on a transcendental consciousness, where he is independent of material honor and dishonor. Right? There is example is given of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. These are all ideals for us. And on the 20 item, humility is the beginning. Abhi to bahut aage. Amanitvam, madhambitvam, bahut uske बाद bahut kuch hai. So today meditating on one of them. So then what happens, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Varanasi, then there was a team of sannyasis there, headed by Prakashananda Saraswati. And they were also not on a spiritual platform. They're finding unnecessarily fault with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When he was in public dancing, lakhs of people used to dance with him and love of Krishna. Just by seeing him, people used to feel ecstasy of spiritual life and become Vaishnava. Just by seeing him. And when he chant and dance or roar the holy names of the Lord, people used to get mad and happy. So daily we used to do Nama, Harinama, Sankirtana. Public was going and dancing ecstatically with him. So what happens? Oh, anybody in nature, when you see somebody getting honor, what do you get? You get envious. That is the proof of material platform. So that shows their spiritual weakness. Even though they were practicing Advaita Tattvapada, but some problems were there. Why getting envious? And then they started speaking what? That actually he's a bhavuka. He's a sentimentalist. He that doesn't know any philosophy, anything. Some bhavuka. Many people think power is gone like that. One person was telling me, I went to England. I said, yes. Was a big man. Then after that, I never met him. I lost interest to meet him. He said, so when I went to England, he's a famous man in Bangalore, so-called spiritualist also, speaks some nonsense spiritualist, Mayavadi mainly. Better not waste time naming. So he said, I went there to England. It was the winter time. I said, yes. Then, but I saw these ISKCON followers so chanting and dancing on the street ecstatically. He says, see, they must be taking drugs. That was his conclusion. I said, thank you very much. He cannot understand. So similarly, most of the people feel like this. If you're chanting and dancing on the streets, they say, why you are advertising? Advertising. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Satatam Kirtayanto Ma, always chant my name. Nata tasman manusheshu kashit me apirikritama. There's nobody more dear than me who gives this message to another person. Krishna himself says. So the chanting is the giving an opportunity for people to hear the name of the Lord. And then they take books and they start reading. And people who stand and watch, they can actually see these people are actually happy. They're really spiritually happy. They can feel it. And then they get interested. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard that the Mayavadi, the criticizing. In fact, Chandrasekhar came and told Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Tapan Mishra and Chandrasekhar, they were the two associated with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who were sent by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu much more previously there, because one day is going to come there. And they said, my Lord, it is unbearable for us to hear this. But devotees cannot bear to hear the criticism of other devotees. And here is the Lord himself being criticized. They say, it's unbearable, it's very painful. But when they told all the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu just smiled. So proper rites of purport. This is a test of spiritual advancement. This is the test. We may dream, we may advertise, we may speak so many things, but the test is somehow it will happen. That's why to live among a society of devotees, we should be very introspective. Because first step in spiritual life is humility. First step. And really dishonored. Krishna will see to it, it will happen. He doesn't create your karma, because your own papa karma, you will be dishonored somewhere. Somebody is speaking, kya pagal hai kya? And we get hurt. We can know, I'm desiring some honor in this world. My spiritual life has not even begun. Sometimes what happens, we find fault other person. इसने ऐसा बोल दिया था. ठीक है, वो तो ठीक है, वो तो उसका problem है भी. That is his problem. But it's you look at your problem. So why are you getting hurt? You're getting hurt because there is a desire for anxious to have satisfaction, to be honored in this world, which is actually a deception. Correct? That's the purpose in the purport. One should not be cheated by this deception of honor in this world. It's a deception. It's an illusion. What is the meaning of honor in this world? Meaningless. But you start desiring honor. I'm a great sadhu. Now you please honor me. When I come, you all pay obeisance, put garland. That is what we expect. So once we start developing that anxiousness for honor like that, we are lost our humility. We have that other example of Durvasa Muni. So angry at Ambarish Maharaj. So angry at Ambarish Maharaj. He just envious, that's all. Ambarish Maharaj is an emperor of the world. And he was such a great devotee. Bhagavatam describes, Savai Manah Krishna Padara Vindayo Vacham Vaikuntha Gunanu Varnane Karor Harer Mandir Marjanadisho Shrutim Chakara Shatakatho Uday. He's talking about his amazing qualities. Bhagavatam, even though he's the emperor, his mind is always on the lotus feet of Krishna. Always he's chanting the name of Krishna. Always he's cleaning the temple of Krishna with his own hand. So always hearing about Krishna. So he's amazing personality. But he's getting immense honor in the society. And Durvasa Muni got envious. And so much so, he even tried to kill him. And later Sudarshana taught him a lesson. But the point is, he is spiritually advanced. We do not know. But kind of envious has developed. He is not spiritually advanced. He is maybe some material. The siddhis don't show spiritual advancement. Material siddhis, generally today, those who watch movies will know. The sadhu means who has some material siddhis. That is what they think. Some power he has. Kuch shakti hai uske paas. He can do some black magic. He can do some tamasha. So generally people feel the sadhu means with some material siddhis. But Durvasa Muni had material siddhis. But Lord did not recognize that. Rather, he gave him death penalty. It was only saved by Ambarish Maharaj, otherwise his neck was cut. So he had no value for his material siddhis. Ramana had much more material siddhis than so-called even gods of today. Today, so many gods are roaming around in India, Babas. But all they can talk about some material siddhis. Ramana had much more. Durvasa Muni had much more. Durvasa Muni is left and right, outside all Puranas, going in and out, in and out, in and out, correct? But here, he got a death penalty. That means Lord rejected his all spiritual advancement. And the kind of enviousness he showed toward Ambarish Maharaj showed that actually he had great weakness in spiritual life, desire for honor. And you see that because he came on a material platform, lost his first quality of spiritual life, humility, he was actually put himself in a very dangerous position of finding fault in a faultless personality. Like Daksha found fault with Lord Shiva. Hey, at Durvasa Muni find fault with whom? Ambarish Maharaj. So such blunder of a mistake. And that will happen when you come on a metal platform. So to ourselves to cross-check, we should see whether I'm getting hurt, whether I'm getting envious. Prabhupada says very simple. To know that I'm on a material and spiritual platform, just watch this. In any field of activity, there will be colleagues. Either you're a devotee or a spiritualist. Correct? We are in office, you have a lot of colleagues. You are in business, you are the business partners. Are the devotee, we have colleagues. Am I feeling envious of other person? Just watch this. If yes, we are in the middle platform. If no, you're in the spiritual platform. Oba. Very simple test. Okay? You are a professor, you're working in a college, another 100 professors in the college. I have personally seen one professor shouting at another professor. Somehow in one top college here I was sitting. Shouting means like a dog. Barking at each other. And I've seen it. Because they get lost about that within the small institution. There are some 10, 15 posts that joke. He wants to become additional faculty, he wants to become professor, he wants to become this. And there is a competition. Within that society, there is some honor, dishonor, and they become lost within that. They start fighting, envious, jealous of each other. In fact, many youngsters who join companies, they tell me that other things we are able to tolerate, but the politics are there in every organization, which is unbearable to tolerate. Unbearable, they say, because at least youngsters, their heart is golden. At the moment, they're not thinking like that. At least not so polluted, but they find it unbearable. You see that today, political parties, each pulling each other leg within the party, outside the party. Everywhere it's the same game. Tamasha. So we should try to make spiritual advancement. And the first symptom, proof of spiritual advancement, in the heart, there is no envy. And if there is even a trace of enviousness within the heart, you cannot understand Krishna consciousness. Dhritarashtra was envious of the Pandavas. He did not understand one word of Krishna consciousness. Bhagavad Gita message, which is the message of Krishna consciousness, did not enter the heart of Dhritarashtra even 1 inch. Nothing. Bahar se hi nikal gaya. Okay? Therefore, Bhagavatam says, Dharma projata kaito atra parmo nirmasaranam sata. Dharma. It is said, one of the symptoms of a pure devotee has various symptoms, but one of the most important symptoms of pure devotee is that he is not envious of anybody. And Prahlad Maharaj was being instructed by Shanda and Amarka. He just rejected the whole education. Just rejected it because they were talking about enemies and friends. He said, what enemy and friend? He was well-wisher for everybody. His heart is gold, pure gold. Could not even bear to hear that we can feel somebody is our enemy and we can harm him. Like Dhritarashtra was so attached to his children that he wanted to do harm to the Pandavas. So then because of that negative feeling within the heart is, if you bring something negative to the heart, then Krishna cannot sit in the heart. Then heart is disturbed, and a disturbed heart, we cannot have Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna, thank you very much. Someday we will do other qualities. We can have workshop on these 20 qualities.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Dhanyavad. Because of grace, Prabhuji, Dandavad Pranam.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much,
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you so much,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Your blessing.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.